Now live on 10 Tampa Bay.
It's time to unite.
Tonight, our verify Trump's historic win.
And what Vice President Kamala Harris is now saying as she concedes.
But we must accept the results of this election.
Plus, what's next for Florida after the highly debated abortion amendment fails?
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
Thank you for being with us this evening. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay at 6. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Dave Wagner. It is official. Donald Trump is projected to be the 47th president of the United States. And within the last 2 hours, Vice President Kamala Harris spoke publicly for the. That's after both she and President Joe Biden called Trump to congratulate him.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
Trump's team and supporters are calling this the greatest political comeback in American history. The president-elect claimed victory overnight in West Palm Beach.
Americans, so I want to just tell you what a great honor this is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before.
Looking ahead, campaign officials tell CBS News that they're going to start holding transition meetings immediately in Florida so that they're ready to take office on January 20th. Trump has said beginning on day one that he's going to focus on immigration and campaigned that he plans to expel anyone living in the United States illegally. He also wants to impose a tariff of 10 to 20% on all goods not made in America. And Trump says that he will work to end the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.
In Florida's biggest race, Senator Rick Scott is celebrating a big win over Democrat Debbie McCarsell-Powell. This will be his second term in the U.S. Senate, and Senator Scott has made it clear he's hoping to be the next Senate Majority Leader when Republicans take control.
Floridians also voted on 6 amendments, with the hunting and fishing amendment and homestead exemption amendments passing. The other 4 failed. That includes the highly debated marijuana and abortion amendments. Voters rejected Amendment 4, keeping the state's 6-week abortion ban in place tonight.
That amendment, which sought to enshrine abortion rights in the state's constitution, had to be approved by at least 60% of voters. It fell just short at more than 57%. 10 Tampa Bay's Hannah Nina spent the day speaking with people on both sides of this issue.
And Hannah, there's each saying that their work doesn't stop here.
Yes, tonight, those on both sides of this issue say the results have given them purpose and momentum. Those in favor of increasing abortion access, like those here at Planned Parenthood, say they will continue to fight for the majority of Floridians who want to see the restrictive 6-week ban overturned. Supporters of Amendment 4 say reintroducing this constitutional amendment during a future election is not off the table. Of course, they would be starting from scratch, which here in Florida includes gathering roughly 900,000 signatures. Live in St. Petersburg, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
Anna, thank you. And right now you can find a full list of results for our local elections on the free 10 Tampa Bay app.
And we'll have more coverage of the election in just a moment. But first, let's check in with the 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Duskins. Keeping an eye on the tropics for us tonight.
Yeah, you know, this thing's only about 250, 300 miles from us. It's a Category 2 hurricane, made landfall today. This is Rafael, by the way, in Cuba, with about 115 mile per hour winds as a Cat 3. So it's not going to have any issues with us, but it's going to turn west, obviously a hard left turn there, which is great news for us. And for the most part, it stays out over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, so we don't have to worry about anybody else dealing with it other than the folks that have dealt with it now in Cuba. The Keys will get a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind, nothing major there. But Cat 2, likely to stay that way for the next several days because it's not moving to the north where the shear is and some of the even cooler water is. Right? And that forecast has changed. Some of the models are doing this. Now some are doing this. The Hurricane Center is back down over here. If it does go further to the north, it will weaken anyways. But the bottom line is it's moving away from us. The best chance for seeing any high winds from it will be in this area in the purple right here. And again, that's out towards the southern Gulf of Mexico. So we're dodging that one. Now, we do have some moisture surrounding it, a couple showers. I'll track those for you coming up.
Bobby, thanks. Right now, Pinellas County, a soccer coach is facing charges accused of touching a minor. Investigators say 42-year-old Joe Avidia invited the young girl to his house, gave her money, and touched her inappropriately, telling her to stay quiet about it. She immediately reported it, and now Avidia is in jail. Investigators are now asking you to come forward if you believe he was involved in any other cases.
New details tonight on the investigation into a fired Tampa police officer accused of putting a man in a chokehold. This happened as he was making an arrest in April, but he was terminated yesterday. Today, police are clarifying the investigation. They did release body cam video. Due to the graphic nature, we are choosing not to show the video on TV. Officer Michael Scaglione is accused of putting a man in a chokehold during an arrest. Officers say that he also failed to report that he punched this man multiple times, failed to report that a 3-year-old child was there at the time, and failed to report that the victim's allegations of sexual abuse. He is now out of a job, and today, TPD says that the second officer on the scene was also given a violation. They say there were no prior complaints against either officer, and the Special Victims Unit did step in to investigate the sexual abuse allegations. Again, the video is difficult to watch, and out of transparency, we are giving you the option to view the complete clip at your discretion. It's available right now on 10tampabay.com.
We are getting updates on the debris cleanup efforts in the Tampa Bay area. Starting in the city of Madeira Beach, workers are now 60% done with their cleanup. That's what Mayor Brooks shared in a video on Facebook just a few hours ago. To the south, folks in Manatee County are seeing steady progress there. The county says 84 trucks run every day and pick up about 872 truckloads of debris.
Still ahead, a community condemned weeks after back-to-back hurricanes. Neighbors are now scrambling to figure out what to do next.
And now that Donald Trump is headed back to the White House, we verify what happens to his criminal charges and whether he could pardon himself.
Sunday's match against San Francisco just got a bit harder for the Buccaneers. We're going to explain why, plus what Baker Mayfield has to say about the decision not to go for 2 in Kansas City.
10 Tampa Bay closed captioning is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. 10 Tampa Bay's Weather Impact Alert takes forecasting to the next level,
especially during hurricane season.
Our Weather Impact team alerts you to dangerous weather days before it happens.
Landfall looking like Wednesday, early Thursday.
Telling you the impacts you can expect in your area.
Flash flooding from fresh water.
Not having power for a few days.
And how to stay safe.
You need to be in your safe spot.
Weather Impact Alert, only on 10 Tampa Bay and 10 Tampa Bay Plus. Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
Our election coverage continues this evening, looking at the personal impacts for President-elect Donald Trump.
Yeah, now that we know he's going to be returning to the Oval Office, what's next for the criminal charges against him? So let's verify whether he could pardon himself in the criminal charges against him. The power of presidential pardons comes from the U.S. Constitution, and the Supreme Court has ruled that there doesn't need to be a conviction to do that. The only limits to that power are that it can't be used on impeachments, and that it only applies to crimes against the country. Meaning federal crimes, pardons for state crimes go through a different process that usually involves a governor or some sort of pardon board. Out of the 4 criminal cases against Donald Trump, 2 of those are for state crimes, so we can verify that Trump could not pardon himself in the hush money case or the Georgia election interference case. As for the federal cases, it's more unclear. No president has ever pardoned himself, so it could be something the Supreme Court ultimately decides. However, sources tell CBS News the Justice Department is looking to wind down its cases against Donald Trump because of its policy against prosecuting a sitting president. If you see something you'd like us to verify, you can email your questions to us, verify at 10tampabay.com, or you can text us 727-577-8522. After Hurricanes Helene and Milton devastated the Cortez area of Manatee County, this evening many residents are now at risk of losing their homes completely because of the cost to repair their homes.
10 Tampa Bay's Aduria Chumba is live in that neighborhood tonight.
Behind me is just an example of the kind of damage that some of these mobile homes here at Sunny Shores Park have suffered, including flooding from storm surge. Now, on the surface, if you're driving around, some of these homes almost look like they could be fixable, but due to a national flood insurance program rule, a 50-50 rule, that is, the homeowners cannot enact any repairs at cost above 50% of the home's market value. So today, many of those impacted homeowners were at this morning's meeting to try to learn what exactly this means for them. And some of these homeowners I spoke to tell me that these trailers and lots were handed down across multiple generations, and many of them would like to keep it in their families. Now, officials say because this area is located in a special flood hazard area, homeowners would have to implement improvements that are compliant with today's floodplain standards. Live in Cortez, Aduria Chumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
Aduri, thank you. Yes, our area, we cannot take any more hurricanes this season, but you're tracking the tropics too, Bobby. A big shift tonight.
Yeah, big shift 1 only. Then the forecast said Cat 2, and then that next forecast came out and said only Cat 1. It reached Cat 3 today. It made landfall about 4:15 there in western Cuba there, and now it's a Cat 2. The forecast, that is a little further east than what the initial forecast was from the Hurricane Center as well. The wind field, and that's what I'm showing you here. The yellow is tropical storm force winds. That's about 40 mile per hour winds or higher. That is about 260 miles to our south. All right, we're going to stay safe from that. And in fact, the storm itself was pretty small. If you look at that, it's only about 170 mile wide tropical storm force winds. To put that in perspective, Milton was about 400 plus. Helene, a little bit smaller than that, but not by much. This is a much smaller system. As a result, as this moves and luckily turns west and heads out across the Gulf of Mexico, it will make some waves. It'll make some surf that'll get pushed our way, some surge that we won't get. We won't get any surge. But because it's a smaller storm and the real high winds are real small right around the center, it's not pushing a lot of water. All right, so we were thinking maybe some real high surf. We won't even get that. We'll get some waves. It's not going to be anything. It will also be moving away. So this is not our storm that we have to deal with. Only marine hazards for us, which basically means we'll see some small swells, especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think even through Sunday, to be honest with you, but small. But when you see those at the beach this weekend, remember you could see rip currents. So swim near lifeguard if you're going out there. Rainfall, less than an inch. Right? Today we had scattered showers, one of our better chances to see it. Very isolated tomorrow. I don't think we see any really until Sunday, and that's not even associated with this. High surf, rip currents, and small craft advisories offshore. The small craft advisory is just from the wind that we're seeing, and even that's coming down 10 to 20 miles per hour for tomorrow. No storm surge. It's really nice to be able to say that. Downtown Tampa right now, look at this, 84 degrees. Sunset was at 5:42. Look at the showers in downtown St. Pete. Looking towards the west, there goes one, and you'll see another one right as the sun is setting. Look at that. It's beautiful, though, by the way. There goes another shower. Those are pushing offshore and will continue to do so. Sunset at 5:42. I mean, we changed it Saturday night into Sunday, but still take some time to get used to that. There goes the rain for the rest of the evening. Very isolated showers left over. Don't expect much. After that, we will be basically very calm and warm. So right now we're in the low 80s. We'll go down to the mid and upper 70s for lows tonight. Tomorrow we're back up to the mid 80s. Same thing on Friday. In fact, through the weekend, but very little rain chances. In fact, 10% or less, especially through the weekend. We'll watch Sunday afternoon for a stray shower. Monday's a slightly better chance for a shower on our Veterans Day. Cold air, cooler air, maybe Thursday. Not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow.
Now, sponsored by Advent Health. This is 10 Sports.
Not only do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a quick, also welcome a San Francisco 49ers team to town, fresh off a bye, with star running back Christian McCaffrey likely making his season debut this weekend. We will be right back.
10 Tampa Bay's Storm Recovery Special.
We're here to get you the help you need.
From insurance to FEMA, electrical, and more. Stream it today on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. 10 Sports is sponsored by Advent Health.
You can make anything possible because you have a connection that's built for everywhere. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Looking ahead to the weekend, the Florida Aquarium is offering free admission to veterans and active duty military. That's Monday.
And there are a lot of events happening this weekend in honor of our veterans.
A lot of veterans take advantage of it in our area.
Yeah, so it's going to be nice and dry and sunny.
There will be a few showers around. I think I put 30% on Monday. It's not a big deal. It'll be less humid than
There
what
we
it
go.
is right now.
Yeah,
that's the good news. It's ridiculous out there.
I took a run. It was a bad idea.
I did too. I ran over to the water.
What part?
Yeah, the water cooler.
Was
Yeah.
it the run or the humidity?
Yeah, I think a mixture of both. It might be more run than humidity, but still not ideal.
I ran to the snack bar. It was excellent today. Great.
I do that often.
Nora Donald is next.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 10 Tampa Bay Plus app everywhere you stream. 10 Tampa Bay is sponsored by Integrity Home Solutions, where details matter.